Welcome, Gunrunner.
Back when I did the greatest computers of all time viewer poll, spoiler alert for those who might not have seen it, I'll link it in the description for those who want to, the Commodore Amiga finished in a very credible third place, only being beaten by its two 8-bit predecessors, the Commodore 64 and the Atari 8-bit, which was of course the previous computer created by Jay Miner and his team. I've already done viewer polls to decide the greatest games for both of those, so it's inevitable that I would do the same for the Amiga eventually, and now here we are. Once again I put this question to the members of several big retro gaming groups on Facebook, including the hugely popular and very lively Retro Gaming Hysteria, link in the description for those who want to join, as well as my own loyal subscribers, asking them to name their top 5 and the reasons why they chose those particular games. Following the same rules as before, I awarded 5 points to your first choice, 4 points to second, and so on and so forth. I then counted up those votes to decide the final placings, and in the case of games having the same number of points, I then went to the number of votes awarded, followed by the number of first place votes to decide the final ranking. In this particular video, I actually had to use both of these tiebreakers quite a bit, especially in the lower placings. The voting for this video was actually very interesting for a number of reasons. Firstly, because it received less votes than any of the other polls I did previously, which is really surprising when you consider what a passionate fan base the Amiga has. Secondly, because a lot of really big name games didn't even make the wider top 40, which will be made available in a special video produced exclusively for all my patrons around the same time that this one goes out. I usually try to avoid spoilers, but in this case I think I need to mention some of them, because I'm sure you'll be as surprised as I am. Amongst the notable absences were both Xenon 2 and Gods from the Bitmap Brothers, iconic footy game Kick-Off 2, the stunning cinematic adventure Flashback, and open world space exploration extravaganza Frontier Elite 2. And there were so many others too, so I really look forward to seeing all your comments at the end. So with all that in mind, it's time for the main event, as I start counting down the 20 greatest Commodore Amiga games of all time.
The search for a good computer deal continues.
Here it is.
Is that all you get?
You won't get a better deal anywhere else.
Wrong. You can get a better deal. I'm Captain Diamond, and I'll give you bigger packages and more software. And for another £200, you get a Philips stereo color monitor.
Everything but the kitchen sink from Diamond Computers.
Given that Peter Molyneux has become the butt of so many jokes these days, it's almost hard to remember that he once created great games like Populous. And this game, that very much popularised the God Sim genre, just sneaks into 20th place. Widely regarded as the best pinball game on the Amiga, I was actually quite surprised that Pinball Fantasies didn't finish higher. Published by 20th Century Entertainment, the game was developed by some company called DICE. I wonder what happened to them. Still regarded by many as the best football game ever made, me included, the first Sensible Soccer was ranked 18th in the voting process, which might seem a bit low, but I'm pretty sure this isn't the last we'll see of Sensible Software's groundbreaking franchise. Hailed by many as the very first truly open world 3D adventure, which very much inspired the AAA games of today, Activision's Hunter was certainly a groundbreaking product that deserves to be better remembered, but at least it made the cut here. The first Lotus Turbo Challenge was a hugely successful and highly acclaimed game for both Gremlin and developer Magnetic Fields, so a sequel was inevitable, and when it arrived it certainly didn't disappoint, improving on its predecessor in every single area. Developed by DMA Design, of course is still around in the form of Rockstar North, Blood Money is the only traditional shoot 'em up to make this top 20, but I can't think of a more worthy example on the Amiga, as it simply oozes class from start to finish.
There's a whole lot more coming.
The biggest unanswered question is where...
One of the many franchises that started out on the Amiga that is still going strong today, Civilization has become an absolute phenomenon, with one of the most passionate fan bases of any video game, so it's not really a surprise to see it feature on this list. Both Turrican 1 and 2 received a stack of votes from all you Amiga fans, but it was this second game that made the top 20. From its gorgeous graphics to its stunning soundtrack by Chris Hülsbeck, Turrican 2 is a joy to behold, and it's about time this franchise was brought back, I think. When the Amiga masters, that are Team 17, decided to combine the classic Atari arcade game Gauntlet with the equally classic Aliens film franchise, the results were every bit as good as we hoped. Several sequels followed, but the first Alien Breed remains the best remembered.
Player 1.
It could be argued that Wings was quite unlike most of the other games published by Cinemaware, being that it was less focused on trying to look like a movie and more focused on delivering a realistic flight sim experience, which is probably why you voted for it. I mentioned in the intro that I was shocked not to see Flashback make the final cut, so those of you who are disappointed by that revelation will be very pleased to discover that its predecessor Another World did, as part of our prestigious top 10 no less. The first Bitmap Brothers game to make this list, the Chaos Engine, was released in both OCS and HEA form, and also received an equally excellent sequel. It's a perfect combination of several different game types, including arcade adventures, run and gun, and even has RPG aspects. If you asked me to name my favourite Amiga game, then Worms would be my answer. A wonderful strategy game with a multiplayer focus. There are very few video games I've had more fun with over the years. It's no wonder that Team 17 is still producing Worms games in the present day. While 3D racing games were nothing new in 1989, very few people have got them right. However, fresh from the huge success of Formula 1 Grand Prix, and having been inspired by Atari's hard driving arcade game, Jeff Crammond provided the goods once again with Stunt Car Racer. Sensible Software claim another position in this countdown with the seminal Cannon Fodder, which took the iconic small sprites seen in their soccer games and merged them perfectly into an all-action strategy game, with one of the most famous theme tunes ever. War's never been so much fun. As far as Europe goes at least, Shadow of the Beast was a truly game-changing product for the Amiga that was instrumental in Commodore taking control of the 16-bit computer market. It really showed what the Amiga could do, and just as importantly, what the ST couldn't. Now my earlier comment makes sense, because although plenty of you voted for the original Sensi, even more of you voted for the third game in the series that made the huge advancement of combining the action of the original with the strategy of Football Manager. And taking the bronze medal we have The Secret of Monkey Island, a true point-and-click classic that many regard as Ron Gilbert's finest moment. Not only did the game feature some really compulsive gameplay, its huge smattering of humour made it even more memorable still. Whilst the first Speedball was good, Bitmap Brothers' Brutal Deluxe was simply incredible and built on an already winning concept. In fact, when it comes to futuristic sports games, I can't think of a better game than Speedball 2. Anyone want an ice cream? Taking the top position by just 3 points, I always knew that DMA Design's iconic strategy puzzler would rank highly, but didn't expect to find it at the top. But it's certainly a worthy winner here, as proved by the huge amount of votes it received from all you amigos. that rounds up my look at the 20 greatest Commodore Amiga games of all time. Which games were you most surprised not to see make the final list? Are there any games that you don't think were worthy of inclusion in this countdown? I always love to hear the thoughts and views of my audience, so please get typing in that comment section. Before I go though, I must thank all of my loyal patrons who continue to support my channel and make videos like this possible. However, I must give special thanks to following patrons and YouTube backers in particular for their much appreciated pledges. Grady Haynes, Mitchell Valentino, Seth A. Robinson, Carl Olsen, Dos Gamerman, Sonic Mania 999, Paul Daniel, Andrew McKay, Retro Resolution, Matt Standish, James Taylor, Trogdor the Burninator, Mins, 8-Bit Guy, Luke MC, Ben P. Stein, Tabby Kitsune and Electron Star Collapse. If you also want to help support all my creative endeavours, including this YouTube channel, then please go and check out my Patreon right now. You can get access to extra content including downloads, exclusive videos, including a top 40 version of this very video, creative insights and much more besides. I've been the Laird, I thank you for watching and I'll see you all again for another video very soon.